The Book of Genesis, Bereshith, Chapter 1. In the beginning Elohim created the Shemayim and the earth. And the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let light come to be." And light came to be. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, day one. And Elohim said, "Let an expanse come to be in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And Elohim made the expanse, and separated the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. And it came to be so. And Elohim called the expanse Shemayim, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the second day. And Elohim said, "Let the waters under the Shemayim be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it came to be so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the plant that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth." And it came to be so. And the earth brought forth grass, the plant that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the third day. And Elohim said, "Let lights come to be in the expanse of the Shemayim, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the expanse of the Shemayim, to give light on the earth." And it came to be so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And Elohim placed them in the expanse of the Shemayim, to give light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the fourth day. And Elohim said, "Let the waters teem with shoals of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth on the face of the expanse of the Shemayim." And Elohim created great sea creatures, and every living creature that moves, with which the waters teemed, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim baraked them, saying, "Bear fruit and increase, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the fifth day. And Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature, according to its kind, livestock and creeping creatures, and beasts of the earth, according to its kind." And it came to be so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, livestock according to its kind, and all that creep on the earth according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the Shemayim, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the earth." And Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim he created him. Male and female he created them. And Elohim baraked them. And Elohim said to them, "Bear fruit and increase, and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the Shemayim, and over all creatures moving on the earth. And Elohim said, See, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it is for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the Shamayim, and to every creeping creature on the earth, in which there is breath of life, every green plant is for food. And it came to be so. And Elohim saw all that he had made, and see, it was very good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the sixth day. Chapter 2. Thus the Shamayim and the earth were completed, and all their array. And on the seventh day Elohim completed his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim baraked the seventh day, and made it Kodesh, because on it he rested from all his work which Elohim in creating had made. These are the births of the Shamayim and the earth, when they were created, in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made earth and Shamayim. Now no shrub of the field was yet on the earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprung up, for Yahuwah Elohim had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no man to till the ground. But a mist went up from the earth, and watered the entire surface of the ground. And Yahuwah Elohim formed the man out of dust from the ground, and breathed into his nostrils breath of life, and the man became a living being. And Yahuwah Elohim planted a garden in Eden, to the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground Yahuwah Elohim made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, with the tree of Hai in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became 4 riverheads. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. Bdellium is there, and the shoham stone. And the name of the second river is Gohan. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Hedekal. It is the one which goes toward the east of Ashur. And the fourth river is Perith. And Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. And Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, Eat of every tree of the garden, but do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall certainly die. And Yahuwah Elohim said, It is not good for the man to be alone. I am going to make a helper for him, as his counterpart. And from the ground Yahuwah Elohim formed every beast of the field, and every bird of the Shamayim, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all livestock, and to the birds of the Shamayim, and to every beast of the field. But for the man there was not found a helper for him, as his counterpart. So Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall on the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh in its place. And the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from the man, he made into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And the man said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. This one is called woman, because she was taken out of man. For this cause a man shall leave his father and mother, and join unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, yet they were not ashamed. Chapter 3. And the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, Is it true that Elohim has said, Do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, Do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the woman, You shall certainly not die. For Elohim knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together, and made loin coverings for themselves. And they heard the sound of Yahuwah Elohim walking about in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim among the trees of the garden. And Yahuwah Elohim called unto Adam, and said to him, Where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself. And he said, Who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the woman, What is this you have done? And the woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all livestock, and more than every beast of the field. On your abdomen you are to go, and eat dust all the days of your life. And I put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. To the woman he said, I greatly increase your sorrow and your conception. Bring forth children in pain. And your desires for your husband, and he rules over you. And to the man he said, Because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, Do not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you are to eat of it all the days of your life. And it shall bring forth thorns and thistles for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you are to eat bread, until you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you return. And the man called his wife's name Hawa, because she became the mother of all living. And Yahuwah Elohim made coats of skin for the man and his wife, and dressed them. And Yahuwah Elohim said, See, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put out his hand, and take also of the tree of high, and eat, and live forever. So Yahuwah Elohim sent him out of the garden of Eden, to till the ground from which he was taken. And he drove the man out, and he placed cherubim at the east of the garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to guard the way to the tree of high. Chapter 4. And Adam knew Hawa his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have gained a man from Yahuwah. And again she gave birth to his brother Abel, and Abel became a keeper of sheep, but Cain became a tiller of the ground. And it came to be in the course of time that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to Yahuwah, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. And Yahuwah looked to Abel and his offering, But he did not look to Cain and his offering, and Cain was very wroth, and his face fell. And Yahuwah said to Cain, Why are you wroth? And why is your face fallen? If you do well, is there not acceptance? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should master it. And Cain told Abel his brother, Come, let us go into the field. And it came to be, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and killed him. And Yahuwah said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's guard? And he said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. If you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. And Cain said to Yahuwah, My wickedness is too great to bear. See, you have driven me from the face of the ground today, and I am hidden from your face. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and it shall be that anyone who finds me kills me. And Yahuwah said to him, Well, if anyone kills Cain, vengeance is taken on him sevenfold. And Yahuwah placed a sign for Cain, lest anyone finding him kills him. So Cain went out from the presence of Yahuwah, and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Hanok. And he built a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Hanok. And to Hanok was born Irad, and Irad brought forth Mehujael, and Mehujael brought forth Methusael, and Methusael brought forth Lamech. And Lamech took for himself 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the name of the second was Selah. And Adah bore Jabal. He was the father of those who dwell in tents, with livestock. And his brother's name was Ubal. He was the father of all those who play the lyre and flute. As for Selah, she also bore Tubal-Cain, a smith of all kinds of tools, in bronze and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said to his wives Adah and Selah, Hear my voice, wives of Lamech. Listen to my words, for I have killed a man for wounding me, even a young man for hurting me. For Cain is avenged sevenfold, and Lamech 77-fold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son and called his name Sheth. For Elohim has appointed me another seed instead of Abel, because Cain had slain him. And to Sheth, to him also a son was born, and he called his name Enosh. Then it was begun to call on the name of Yahuwah. Chapter 5. This is the book of the genealogy of Adam. In the day that Elohim created man, he made him in the likeness of Elohim. Male and female he created them, and he baraked them, and called their name Adam, in the day they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and brought forth a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Sheth. And after he brought forth Sheth, the days of Adam were 800 years, and he brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Sheth lived 105 years, and brought forth Enosh. And after he brought forth Enosh, Sheth lived 807 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Sheth were 912 years, and he died. And Enosh lived 90 years, and brought forth Cain. And after he brought forth Cain, Enosh lived 815 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years, and brought forth Mahalalel. After he brought forth Mahalalel, Canaan lived 840 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalalel lived 65 years, and brought forth Yared. And after he brought forth Yared, Mahalalel lived 830 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Yared lived 162 years, and brought forth Hanok. And after he brought forth Hanok, Yared lived 800 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Yared were 962 years, and he died. And Hanok lived 65 years, and brought forth Methuselah. And after he brought forth Methuselah, Hanok walked with Elohim 300 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Hanok were 365 years. And Hanok walked with Elohim. Then he was no more, for Elohim took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years, and brought forth Lamech. And after he brought forth Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and brought forth a son. He called his name Noah, saying, This one comforts us concerning our work and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which Yahuwah has cursed. And after he brought forth Noah, Lamech lived 595 years, and brought forth sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah brought forth Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Chapter 6. And it came to be, when men began to increase on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were good, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And Yahuwah said, My Ruach shall not strive with mankind forever in his going astray. He is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, the men of name. And Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahuwah was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. And Yahuwah said, I am going to wipe off man, whom I have created, from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping creature, and birds of the Shamayim, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with Elohim. And Noah brought forth 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And see, I am going to destroy them from the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with tar. And this is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 amah, its width 50 amah, and its height 30 amah. Make a window for the ark, and complete it to an amma from above, and put the door of the ark on its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. And see, I myself am bringing floodwaters on the earth, to destroy all flesh in which is the breath of life from under the Shemayim. All that is on the earth is to die. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of all the living creatures of all flesh, 2 of each, you are to bring into the ark to keep them alive with you, a male and a female, of the birds after their kind, and of the cattle after their kind, and of all creeping creatures of the earth after their kind. 2 of each are to come to you, and to keep them alive. As for you, take of all food that is eaten, and gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. And Noah did according to all that Elohim commanded him. So he did. Chapter 7. And Yahuwah said to Noah, Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of all the clean beasts take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female, and of the beasts that are unclean, 2, a male and his female. And of birds of the Shemayim 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I am sending rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and shall wipe from the face of the earth and all that stand that I created. And Noah did according to all that Yahuwah commanded him. Now Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. And Noah and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean beasts, and of the beasts that are unclean, and of birds, and of all that creep on the earth. 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as Elohim had commanded Noah. And it came to be after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the Shemayim were opened. And the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day Noah and Shem, and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, went into the ark. They and every living creature after its kind, and every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2, of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. And those going in, male and female of all flesh, went in as Elohim had commanded him, and Yahuwah shut him in. And the flood was on the earth 40 days, and the waters increased, and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. And the waters were mighty and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. And the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth, and all the high mountains under all the Shemayim were covered. The waters became mighty, 15 amma upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth, and all mankind. All in whose nostrils was the breath of the Ruach of life, all that was on the dry land died. So he wiped off all that stand which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature, and bird of the Shemayim, and they were wiped off from the earth. And only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. And the waters were mighty on the earth 150 days.